Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Miguel.
This is the Didn't Anyone Mention podcast.
Welcome back.
I guess, yeah. I've seen like
Ooh, how's your day been going so far?
So far, so good. Felt real happy meal prepping.
Nice. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. We'll meal prep later today.
yeah.
Anyways, welcome. Welcome to the show. This is our 70 something episode. 72, I think. 72, 73,
72.
74. I don't know. Anyways, let me tell you how I came across this. Have you ever heard of Red Lake in Ireland?
No.
No. Okay. I was really hoping that you hadn't. So I listened to this podcast called The Sean Ryan Show, which is
Okay,
he's
yeah.
like a, you know who that is?
I know that you listened to that
Yeah, so he's a ex Navy SEAL that does podcasting interviews, whatever.
one. Yes.
He interviewed this lady named Diana Polsonka. Does it
Okay.
ring a bell?
Mm-mm.
She is a theologist.
Okay.
Um, studies religion.
Mm-hmm.
She studies a lot. She's a PhD student. She teaches
Mm-hmm.
um, at like I think 3 or 4 different Ivy League schools. Like
Wow.
she's knows her stuff,
She's a big brain.
right? Um. Anyways, she was on his show talking about a lot of things. One of the things that they were talking about was like like how UFOs and aliens
Mm-hmm.
tie into religion. She believes that aliens slash UFOs
Yeah.
are like beings of God or another nature coming down and compartmentalizing knowledge onto people. So you know the story of Joan of Arc.
Yes.
Um, she was young,
Yeah.
she led an
Mm-hmm.
army.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess there's an account deep in the archives of the Vatican that she verified that Joan of Arc was
Could you?
visited by a floating orb, much like people see these days when they call for UFOs. And a lot of these stories happen when somebody gets visited or abducted by a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
They have this like profound knowledge. So the story with Joan of Arc is that she was visited by this floating orb god
Mm-hmm.
per se, or being of God,
Mm-hmm.
and gave her the knowledge to. I don't know the story of Joan of Arc, but she brought that up.
Yeah.
Gave her the knowledge to command these armies, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I find that super interesting.
That's crazy.
Super side note to the main point of this is that she says purgatory is a real place,
I know purgatory is real.
and
Does
she's been there.
Catholics believe in purgatory?
Yes,
Okay,
and
yes.
that was another thing. So she is a Catholic, and she was talking about shit I had never even heard of. But then again, I don't like I don't practice.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
but I knew that though.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess purgatory is a place you go to.
It's in between.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's in between heaven, or like it's after you die.
It's like the stepping stone. Like it's like a you're here, then you go there, and then you go to
But you can get stuck in
wherever.
purgatory
You can get stuck. It's like a
for your sins.
mm-hmm.
hmm Um, so she was talking about her studies and all that. Apparently, she has a guy that she calls Tyler. She don't know his real name, but he is a government entity that,
Oh.
or NASA entity,
Mm-hmm.
can't reveal his true self to her. But he takes her to all these places because he has special clearances to get into these places, like the Vatican or wherever. Like,
Could you imagine going there?
yeah, I would love to.
That would be so crazy.
Right. Um, and he said, "Oh, have you ever been to purgatory?" And she's like, "Oh, like no." He's like, "Okay, we'll go." And so he took her to this cave where the idea of purgatory began. It's called. Let's see if I can pronounce this right.
No way. This is what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay.
Yeah. It's called Llyn Coch, which is Red Lake, um, in
Oh, I bet it
in
is.
Wales, not Ireland, Wales. So I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Supposedly, it's not even a lake. It's like it's a cave
It's
next
yeah.
to it.
Uh-huh.
Um, you go into this cave, and you're supposed to spend 24 hours in it. And in that time, like you're met with a bunch of different things, demons, spirits, holy spirits, all these things, and you're supposed to just fight them all off. And as soon as you come out, like you're good. So back in the day in the Vatican, they would do this. Like there's
Yeah, because it
records
would show, like, I'm guessing, like, a
like
purity, or
who
like,
you are.
yeah, you
Yeah.
would know your true.
Yeah.
This is giving one of my books, but I can't tell you which one.
Okay. Um so Diana Pasanka was talking about in the Vatican there's records of this, but they've changed over so many years.
Well, yeah,
Catholicism has changed.
I feel like it may have also hurt a lot of people.
Probably.
I mean, maybe physically, I don't know, but definitely mentally
Right.
for sure.
So this used to be like a common practice, was like to put
I mean, think about what used to be common practices too.
yeah.
So isn't that crazy?
Um,
Dang. I wouldn't doubt it. I believe you. I believe
yeah.
you 100%.
So that's what started on this whole. That's what started me on this whole thing.
So then, like, I know that you're not going to talk about the podcast, but then is that just kind of where she left it?
No, if you want to listen to it, it's a fantastic episode.
Because they just talked about how, like, UFOs kind of relate to religion and stuff.
Well, she was talking about she grew up. We'll talk a little bit. We'll talk more about it at the end of the episode.
Okay.
Because it was an awesome episode, and I recommend you guys. You guys, if you're listening to our podcast, my guess is you listen to the Sean Ryan Show. That it's like the #2 podcast in the world right now.
Oh, dang, that's so cool.
But it's a great episode, regardless. When I went to go search up Red Lake and the Purgatory Cave and all that, couldn't find anything on it. Nothing.
Please tell me you found nothing?
Nothing. But I did find a story around it.
How crazy is that?
What do you mean?
That you find something, that you're told something, that somebody by somebody so credited and or credible, and so, like, but yet you have nothing to prove that they're credible.
Yeah.
So that's dang. Those are always the best topics.
And I think that's why it like pays to have like an expert or something, be an expert.
Yeah.
Because she's got credentials, man. And her story, like how she grew up, I'll tell you the rest of the story of what I remember. It's been like a week since I listened to it. It's probably my favorite episode he's done. I'd recommend you listen to it. You'd probably like it.
I was gonna say, sounds like I'm gonna be listening to this.
So anyways, we'll talk about Llyn Coch now, the Red Lake. It's a mystical lake said to exist in Mount Snowdon, which is, I don't know how to pronounce that. Erie? Erie?
Okay.
In Wales.
Okay.
Though there's not really a map widely recognizing this lake, because it's hidden amongst a lot of other lakes and folklore. So the mountain itself is surrounded in a legend like King Arthur, the giant Rita Gar. That sound familiar? Me, I don't know what that is. Welsh folklore, the Veil Between Worlds. Like there's so much around this place.
Well, Veil Between Worlds, yeah, that makes sense.
Would make sense, right? And Welsh mythology also surrounds this place. You ever heard of Welsh fairies? They got a crazy name. Tylwyth Teg?
Never heard of that, but I've heard of, like, Welsh fairies, though. Like, because there is.
That's where Halloween. You talked about this? No, that wasn't there.
No, I think that was. But fairies are. It's the little people.
Little people.
Things, but they're fairies. I would even argue could be even their own category. That everybody kind of has one.
Yeah, but it's
somewhere.
So crazy how like in the U.S., I feel like when we think of fairies, we think of Tinkerbell, super nice.
That's
But
what you think of.
Yeah,
Just
fairies
kidding.
everywhere else are like, they're fucked.
Well, that's
They're
even
mean.
we talked about even leprechauns.
Yeah, leprechauns are pieces of shit.
Yeah, dude. Like it was bad. You did not want to see a leprechaun, but
Yeah,
hey, good old St. Patrick's Day is here again, and we're gonna see
oh
leprechauns
yeah,
everywhere here in
classic
these.
Hallmark.
And then it was like it was something where you didn't even want to be green, or we like something about green. I can't remember now, but
I can't remember either.
either way, yeah. Now, I mean, now I think people think fairies of a lot of different things now. But
I know, right? So Welsh fairies are no different. They're dangerous, benevolent, capable of enchanting you, and they
mhm,
lure people into the other world.
mhm,
That's their purpose.
mhm. Wouldn't doubt it.
And then Red Lake, I'm just gonna call it that, even though its real name is Llyn Coch, is portrayed as a thin place where worlds, the boundaries are super thin,
Mhm.
and weird things are meant to happen, or not meant, but gonna
They
happen.
happen. Mhm.
Um, and so there's a story that follows along this, and we're just gonna read along this story here.
Sounds great.
It is a familiar story called Lady of Llyn and Fanfach, a man who falls in love with another worldly woman.
Okay.
Okay, so the farmer. Hold on, let me find the story actually. This is. Let me find the story. Here it is.
Okay.
So, the farmer at Red Lake, he
Mhm.
first sees an eerie vision of a man thatching a haystack on water.
Okay.
Okay. The vision disappears, leaving him obsessed with the lake and its secrets. Like, he saw it, it's gone. Now he's like, what the hell is going on here?
Mhm.
Later that day, he sees a beautiful maiden beneath the water, but as soon as he gets close, she disappears. And desperate to reach her, he spends days by the lake, finally luring the lady out with an apple. I don't know how he did
Dang,
it,
dude,
but
these women and apples, man.
oh well.
Did you get that reference or no?
Yes, you talk about Adam, or
And
not Adam,
Eve.
Eve.
Yep. Okay. I
Um,
just wanted to see. You know.
Now, the maiden's father, which is an old man of the lake, agreed to their marriage, but with one
Okay.
rule. The farmer must never strike his wife with clay, or she will be lost to him forever. They spend years together, happy, whatever.
And what? He smacks her.
They love sharing apples, apparently.
And apples are good. I get it.
Yeah. So Welsh story. This is translated, and it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Um,
And clay is like I'm guessing as in hand because people like would think. I'm pretty sure in the Bible it says somewhere like um, man was made from
clay.
clay. So I wonder if that's why the translation says clay.
Oh,
But I was
maybe.
curious.
Um, while they were planting an apple tree together, the farmer accidentally flings a clod of clay at his wife,
Oh.
like maybe mud or something. Though she's unhurt, she bursts into tears, realizing that they can't be together anymore. She runs straight into the lake. It disappears into the water forever. And then the farmer is left alone, grieving for the rest of his life.
So genuine clay.
Yeah, genuine clay.
Huh. I thought it would be something like, oh, like metaphorical clay because since we're going religious, but maybe my brain was too religious. Oh
Yeah, maybe that's what I
But
thought.
maybe, um, I mean, dang, it took him that long to accidentally spill some dirt on her.
Yeah, so that's one of the small stories that surround this lake, and I'm pretty upset that I couldn't find anything else, dude. I was really hoping to find more about. I know you were excited. You looked really excited.
I was very excited.
Now I kind of know what you kind of want to listen to, so I
That's crazy
might
though.
dig into that a little bit.
Dang.
So I know it's not a lot for this episode,
That's okay. Um,
but we'll go back to. Or do you have something to add?
oh no, I was just curious to, um, so the only thing that you could find over there was like just that they had fairies. That was like the big thing.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that they only had fairies, but like I couldn't find anything about the purgatory.
it was like what you could
Just
find was.
folklore is what I could find.
Oh, okay.
Nothing what this lady was talking about
But
because
you
she said
found
she
in their
found
folklore was the fair. I see what you're saying. I
yeah
see what you're saying.
um, a lot of her references come from the Vatican and their archives.
That is so crazy.
You know. So back to Diana Pasanka.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was she grew up a fundamental. No, not fundamental. What's the word? Something Christian.
Baptist.
No. No. It starts with an S. Like
Spiritual Christian?
a
I don't
No. It's
know.
where you're a small community and everybody's the same religion and you don't know any different. Like you never talk to anybody else, you never know anybody else. Everybody's the same religion as you.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, she had a name for it. Um it'll come to me later. Regardless, she grew up in the society in a small town and she like the thought of UFOs never crossed her mind. Um,
What was
her
never shown to her, or never like as
never
an
shown to
option.
her.
Mm-hmm.
She was grew up in this specific type of Christianity. And then she said one day she listened to the radio and they were talking about some kind of Christianity, and it was very different than what she was hearing
Mm-hmm.
at her church. So she made her mom go buy her a Bible, um, because they didn't follow that Bible or a different
Yeah,
Bible.
there's different versions of the Bible.
Um, so then she read the Bible and then she started studying that. Anyways, so she ended up getting to her studies and she was studying. God damn it, what was it? Phenomenon in
Mm-hmm.
religion or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. As she was studying, going on, she was noticing that there was more and more stories about these orbs coming down in history. Or that's what she was. She was a historian, talking about ancient religions, ancient civilizations, how most religions have some kind of creature that comes down from the sky, imparts knowledge, and leaves. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she was like talking about history, like it happened with the Egyptians, talking about things coming down, imparting knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
leaving. Bunch of different civilizations had the same. Like, how can we all be spread across the globe, really
Mm-hmm.
not know each other, but we all grow agriculture the same way? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can that be?
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyways, the more she was reading into history, into their religion, she was getting more stories of these orbs coming down, imparting knowledge, and leaving.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was supposed to be hard because if you grow up in a religion where God just made it that way,
Yeah,
is the answer. I bet that's why she is the way she is because she loves learning
yeah,
the actual like history of it.
yeah. And
Like,
she was telling Sean from the Sean Ryan show, like, at first, I didn't even know what to do with
mm-hmm.
these encounters. So I'd put them in a separate pile. Be like, I'll deal with these later. And then she said, as soon as I was getting further and further into my studies, this pile grew larger. And I said, you know what? I'm going to look at all these weird encounters like I do the rest of my actual academic studies.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, she found consistencies. She found a lot of things that just happened in every single story. And she was putting together paper and analysis and all that when Tyler, the guy I was telling you about, came into her purview and messaged her online saying like, "Hey, um, I work for so and so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in your research." And it was like she has a handful of government entities wanting to know more about her her study on the orbs, and like
Mm-hmm.
people want to know more about it.
Well, of course they do because they would like to have that knowledge as well.
Right. So she's just kind of like, she still doesn't know if she believes in it all because she's still like pretty religious
Well, yeah.
and she doesn't want to believe in the UFO stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just like this is her area of expertise.
That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at that point, she doesn't have to believe that they're UFOs. She can believe that there's something else.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then she was
I have never really thought of those that way.
it is weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You should listen to it because I'm totally butchering it.
I know.
I
Or
think I'm doing an okay job, but the way she talks about it,
oh,
and
I
like,
bet it's second nature to her. So I
yeah,
bet it comes out super easy.
it's such a good episode, and I hope she comes back and does a secondary one
That'd be cool.
because she talked about purgatory, that it's a real place. She talked about um, the Joan of Arc story, kind of blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know who Joan of Arc
That's
was.
crazy.
She was talking about how just a lot of things. It's a good episode.
Dang. Well, that's really cool. I wish that that purgatory thing was like it like had something.
Well, now that I know you, it seemed like you really perked up at the idea of that. So who knows? Maybe the next few episodes will be religious based.
I know. I just get so intrigued because it's like,
Me too. To a point, I'm intrigued. I think Catholicism, being one of the oldest religions,
yeah,
is
that's
like,
where I think that's where I, because like obviously purgatory was something we like I had never like even heard of or anything
mm-hmm,
before. Um, like kind of being able to be my own person. So it's I would say Catholicism makes more sense to me
mm-hmm.
if I had to pick one.
Interesting.
If I had to pick out of the ones that I've experienced, that would be the one I'd have to pick because it makes the most sense to me.
Interesting.
But
I wish I knew more about it.
yeah.
um,
But yeah, dang, that is so what a lady.
yeah, she's kind of a baller.
It's funny how people you get everybody can make their own life. You can start off in some small little town, literally don't know anything. Just gotta put some effort and
I
put some
mean, yeah,
time and
look at Kellen Moore. He's from a super small town of 600 people in Washington,
just
and now he is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it just shows you. People show us every single day that you can do it. Just get out there and do it.
yeah, that's
You
our
gotta put your
motivation for today.
yeah. There's some
Just
motivation.
get her done.
You
Get
gotta
her
pick.
done.
I know. Somebody said you gotta pick your hard, and it's really stuck with me recently because you do. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
pick your hard. Are you gonna take the easier hard or the harder hard? Because
Rock hard. That's how I pick it. No, but I think you're
yeah,
right.
you
Like,
gotta do that, and it's just that's something I've been like, yeah, this might not be. This might be a little bit more work than I'm wanting to do right now, but what are my like? Even if it's not like a measurable reward or anything like
mm-hmm.
that, like think about like you're gonna know you did a good job, and you're gonna like
Be
have that
proud of it.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
And
can
we're
be
not
proud of.
motivational speakers by
No,
any
but you
means.
can be proud of yourself. I
You can be proud of
promise you.
yourself
Yeah,
for anything.
yeah.
Yeah. But
But
if I was a motivational speaker, I would say, if you're listening to this right now, get up, get after it, get shit done, and then do it again tomorrow. And then in 2 weeks, you're not even going to recognize yourself. If you just get after it and get it done, it's just, you're going to build it into a routine. And then you're going to feel so lazy when you don't do it. You're going to get out of that funk. You're going to get out of whatever you're
yeah,
into. Whatever's holding you back from following your dream, there's no good time for it. There's no perfect day that you got to wait for it. You
and
just got to start.
even if you only have 5% left of you that day, but if you give it that 5%, that's 100. That's 100% of what you had left.
Yeah, dude, just fucking
Just
get
do
after
it.
it. Yeah, get after it.
So
What I was going somewhere with that.
you
You
were
miss
saying that
100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. So,
Yeah, so
or what's the definition of
don't end up in
mania?
purgatory. What?
Or not mania. Of crazy? Of insanity?
Definition?
Yeah.
I don't know
Isn't
that.
it doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a
Oh,
different outcome?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you want to become a billionaire or a trillionaire, or
Yeah.
if you want to become successful, but you're like just not doing anything, you're insane for not doing anything. Because you expect these things to happen, but it's not going to happen.
Yes. Yes. That actually, I hadn't heard that saying in a really long time until Friday. And it's
Weird.
funny that you just said it too.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Weird how the universe works, huh?
I know. I was like, but dang, well, but you guys didn't realize it turned into a motivational speak.
Yeah.
Just don't end up in purgatory is all I'm saying. So
Right.
figure it
And
out.
then last piece of advice I have for you guys. First off, follow us on Instagram. Second of all, if you're going to use a public restroom, make sure to check that there's toilet paper. Okay. Otherwise, you'll be using the seat covers to wipe your ass. It's going to feel like sandpaper. You're only going to get through 3 seats before you realize this is very painful.
Your voice cracked a little bit, like you were gonna
I just
cry.
remembered. I remember it. So that's my advice to you.
Yeah,
Any
that's good
public
advice.
restroom.
Dang, you just got given all advice today. Like
I'm giving all my life hacks. Yeah. Life hack number 2, if you're lactose intolerant, take it seriously when you're in public, but when you're in private, do what you want. That's all I got for you guys. That I can give for free, anyways. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
yeah, see ya.
Toodaloo, fuckaroos.